Good morning, Flosstube. It's Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. Today is January 24th, 2021, and this is part 3 of my 2021 WIP parade. Now, this is all about Mirabilias, and I shot the part 1 and part 2 yesterday and posted those videos, and they were all non-Miras because I have a collection of Miras that I'd love to talk with you about. I just ran out of sunlight yesterday, so I couldn't get the third video shot. Hence, I'm doing it today. I hope you're having a great day. Today, we'll talk about Mirabilias a little bit, but we'll also talk about, I'll show you some Nora Corbetts. I will show you a couple of lavender and lace pieces. Now, lavender and lace is by Marilyn Levitt Emblem. I think that's how you say her last name, who is Nora Corbett's mother. Nora worked for her for quite a while before she went out on her own under the name of Mirabilia. So I had the opportunity to meet Nora Corbett a couple times at different retreats hosted by Under the Sea Fabrics, Leslie. And so she's just a delightful person. She is truly an artist. She doesn't stitch. She comes up with these gorgeous, fantastical patterns through her art, and they are converted to cross stitch. So I had paid very little attention to my Mirabilias the last year, and as I pull these out and look at them, I just really remember how much I love them and the joy that they bring. They're not really my home decor, but they are my craft room decor, and maybe one day I'll have a granddaughter who will like them and want them. I don't know. Otherwise, they'll go to whoever, Goodwill. You know, so today I'm going to show you some WIPs. I'm going to show you some previous finishes also. And I will show you a few things I have kitted up. These up here, those are my, that's my Mira stash. I remember when Via Mirabilia came out in print, and I was stitching quite a bit at that time. It's before I took a break from stitching, and I thought, oh, that's so pretty. That's so big. How am I ever going to finish something like that? And I didn't buy it. And it wasn't, I think my first mirror that I bought was Stone Roses, and it's the statue. It's the one that's kind of a tall, narrow statue. I bought that one, and I found that not that long ago in some container in my craft room. I thought, oh, I forgot that I bought that. That was my very first one. And then the next one I bought was Lady of the Flag. So there was a period of time that really I wasn't buying a lot of Mirabilias, and I wasn't buying Blackbirds either. So I don't know, I lost my mind for a while. And now I've come back to the fold, and I enjoy both. So let's talk about Mirabilia. I think I'll start with some WIPs here. And I'll share this one. This is, oh gosh, I don't have the pattern in here, so I don't recall the name of her. Rose Arbor, I think it is. Rose Arbor. It's so pretty. I love the colors, the composition. I enjoy the Facebook groups where you can go and see how people are converting, changing, updating theirs. This one is on I think this is a Crafty Kitten, like a limited edition fabric. Yeah, I should have probably ironed this, but I can't be bothered with that. Sorry. There. She's so delicate, and I did put a few beads on her, these little purplish beads. This is all Krynic. It is a copper color Krynic. This one is my next one. So when I pick up my next mirror, it's going to be this one, because really I just have the bottom here to do this other urn and the bottom of her dress, and she'll be done. It's sort of like the when I stitched for my niece the conversion for Sabrina, and it kind of hung around for a while. There's no reason for that. I should just stitch this. I love stitching on it. So this will be my next one that'll come into my rotation whenever that is. I haven't decided. And so let's see, I've kind of got a pile. I moved all of my project bags off the table, but it's covered with patterns and half-stitched pieces. So this is Lady of Mystery. And I want to say this came out maybe 2 years ago. I am stitching this. This has been converted to several different colors. I've seen it as a blue, as a green. I really am partial to this kind of fuchsia color. I am stitching on a fantasy dyed fabrics, and she sells through Etsy, and I think she has a Facebook group. But the faces, so Nora Corbett just has this incredible way with women's faces of capturing different moods. And I can't wait to see this completed, because you can tell it's got sort of the pinks and blushes and kind of purpley colors. When that dress comes across, and the black work, I've got some threads hanging down there. All of this scroll work is going to be gorgeous on that fabric. So that is Lady of Mystery. I started in 2020. This is, again, I don't have the pattern. It's in my bag. What is she called? I'll put it on the screen here. I can't recall. My friend Tiffany, I went to the Mirabilia retreat with, she did this, and I was inspired to start it because it's so beautiful. This is an older pattern. This is one of Nora's first patterns. This is as far as I am, and here's just the middle. So most of my mirrors, I start in the middle, and it's centered on the fabric that way. There's rarely ever like a border or something that's square where you can easily count from a corner. So this one is an hand-dyed, I'm trying to think of who this is by. I don't recall, but isn't that gorgeous fabric? It's so light and airy. She's going to be very pretty when she's done. Next, let's see. I got stacks of stuff here. There's finishes. This is Fiona. I've seen several people finish this recently. She is got some attitude, that girl does. I love the green in the kind of that bluish greenish color in the chair that she sits in. And her little kitty cat down there. So this is like, I want to say this is rhubarb or fruit punch fabric. Again, I should have ironed these. Jeez. I don't have her face done. So I usually stitch their faces. I get to stitch those first. And I wasn't sure about the fabric, but now that I look at the fabric, I rather like it, especially how that green pops off on there. And you can see, so with the skin, a lot of times I do stitch over one. Sometimes I stitch 2 over 2, sometimes it's 1 over 1. And I oftentimes will do the outline first and then fill in. Because the skin, the faces are usually outlined on the body, and I'll fill in. This is Fiona. I'll keep going on that one. I was wondering if that one might be a give up based on how I remember feeling about it, but nope. I'm going to continue on her. Next is, this is an early one, My Lady's Garden. This has no beads, which surprises me because it looks like there's some high points in that picture, but no beads. I'm stitching it on Bridget hand dyed by Stephanie. This is a 32 count, and it's a very moody kind of a color. I changed, I think I'm stitching this in a Kryneck, the gate, so it has a little bit of sparkle to it. And I've left spaces open where I am going to put beads on this one. Sorry, let me try this again. There, that's better. Now, isn't that fabric fantastic? I love that fabric. And this woman's face, she's so peaceful. Now, I did her face 1 over 1 because that's all you stitch for skin on that person. The rest of this is flowers on both sides, and it's going to be confetti. There's a bit of confetti, but really, and there's an urn to the back of the lady also. I love that one. Maybe that'll get back into my rotation this fall. See, my rotation is getting to be pretty full. And I don't, you know what a rotation is. I stitch whatever I want when I want. But I usually do focus on a couple pieces at a time. My blonde and my brunette, as I like to call them. All right, so here's Persephone. This is before I really knew much about hand-dyed fabrics. So I stitched her on a cream even weave. And what's interesting about this is that sometimes Nora's watercolors or paintings or whatever she's doing, when you convert it to a cross stitch, the facial features can have, when you look up close, be a lot of contrast. And it's like, wow. And what it is just a play between shadow and light. So it's intended, I mean, you know, to make her look like you're supposed to look at her at a distance from here. But we all, as needle workers, we want to, I'm going to try this again. Geez, you'd think I'd never done a video before. You'd think that we want to look up close, right? So see how strong this contrast is. When you stitch it, you're like, wow, that's a lot of contrast. But when you look at her, it's a piece of art, and it's intended to be that way. So Nora Corbett oftentimes uses, if she's going to use a silk, she uses DMC all the time. Sometimes she'll have a specialty thread, which is, in this case, it's a water lily, Karen water lily. I changed that water lily to a DMC, and I love that it picks up the colors of the dress. So I will continue on this one, knowing that as you look at this, see how dark that water lily is in the background. It's going to look different, but then I'm also using a different fabric. Jessie Marie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff, she did this on a pinkish purplish fabric. It was gorgeous. And if I had known at the time, I probably would have gone and done that. And she's going to be a pretty good size. Like, this is going to be a pretty good size stitch. More to hang in my craft room. I really like this one. And sometimes, you know, just putting it on a plain cream piece of fabric really lets the pattern show off. So that is Persephone. Gosh, I've got work to do. I just need a year of Mirabilias. Wouldn't that be fun? A whole year Miras. 1 year samplers, 1 year Miras, 1 year Brenda Gervais, 1 year Blackbird. Who knows? I have one. This is not Told in a Garden, is it? This is still, this is Lavender and Lace. This is called Fallen Roses. And I'm stitching it, it looks like an exemplar fabric. I'll get my board out again. She is so pretty. I love working on this. So I did substitute the main color of the background with a silk, and I'm using Gloriana Seaweed, and it's gorgeous. It's purples, greens, and blues. So on this pattern, this is what I have in mind. Excuse my throat here. This at the bottom, she just stitched the year. I'll stitch everything, but instead, because her roses are falling, I hope to stitch the profile of a man. We shall see how that goes. In the bottom, in this little cartouche here. So that she's thinking of him and he's looking at her, or he's looking away. I'm not sure. I'm going to give it a try though, because I think that's a great idea. Don't you think? We'll see if it's easy to execute, or if I can execute it. I don't know. Sometimes I think of things and I'm like, what am I thinking? And I get into it and I'm like, yeah, this is way more work than I have time. I need to stitch it. I don't know. We'll see. But I just have a vision of what I want to do. So hopefully that will execute. Those are the WIPs. So this is going to be a much shorter video than the videos from yesterday, but I do want to show you a couple of things. I want to show you a couple of finishes that are not fully finished, but they're finished. This is Garden Party, and it is one of my very favorite finishes. It's one of my very favorite finishes. The color, this is Witching Hour. The fabric's Witching Hour by Under the Sea Fabrics. 32 count. With Mirabilias, you really have to stay in the 28 to 32 count if you want to use the beads that she designs with. Otherwise, the scale of the beads will be off. Look at these ladies. Oh, so pretty. So gorgeous. I'm going to send this off to Jill Rensel to frame this one. In fact, I think I'll send it out this week. I'll send her an email. Jill Rensel is super easy to work with. It takes a while to get the work, but the mats are hand painted and they're just, they're treasures. I love them. So that is Garden Party. Gorgeous. This one is, oh, what is the name of this mermaid? I'll find out the name and I'll put it below here. Eventually I want Jill to do this one as well. This is, and don't you love her hair? Is that not amazing? Oh, she's so pretty. And then that shell on the bottom. Her vision for design work is amazing. Nora Corbett is amazing. I would like to, what I would love to do on this, I would like to find an oval frame. An oval wood frame and maybe paint it or not, maybe not paint it. I'm not sure. I think simple with this one was my preference. Probably not a painted matte, just simple. And this is on 32 count Junebug by hand dyed by Stephanie. Fabric, isn't that pretty fabric? This is the only mermaid I've stitched. And I really enjoyed her. She has a lot of skin though. I did it over one. I did her skin over one and it was, there was a lot of, that was a long stitch. So you have to decide if you're committed to the over one camp or not. You know, and sometimes we are, sometimes we aren't. I see a spot where I missed a bead. I need to go back and fix that. So one thing about having a pandemic is that I just don't go to retreats, haven't gone to retreats, so that frees up some funds for some framing. I guess that's a good thing, right? So what am I thinking about in my Nora Corbett and Mirabilia and Lavender and Lace future? What are some things that I'm thinking of? Well, I haven't stitched a lot of the Noras, which are much smaller and adorable, and they look great on hand-dyed fabrics. I picked this one up, Geranium, off of Stash and Load. I've seen this one stitched many times, and the colors are fantastic. These are the beads that go with it. So that one is a potential future start. This one is, I think this is Hydrangea. I want to say I might have picked this up from the same seller. It was Wisteria. Oh, she's so pretty. That is so pretty. Has some beads and some Krynic for her. Now, oh, you can hear my husband taking off. He gets getting in the car. I don't know where he's going. But I might change this to a petite treasure braid because I do, now that I started stitching with that, ooh, makes my life a lot easier. So Wisteria, I might do these three and put them together on a wall. This would be adorable in the girls' room. The next one is Buttercup. Oh, the one that I was missing before, she was Harvest Blossom. That was her name, the one that my friend Tiffany stitched. And her beads, I think I would put her, oh, and the Krynic. I might stitch her like on a, this would be really pretty on a pink fabric. Some sort of a pink overdyed. That's sort of what I have in mind for some Noras. I also have these little kits. Now these are from Witchell. the Easter Fairy. Isn't she gorgeous stitched? I'm not sure if I will stitch her on this fabric. Haven't decided. And then there's Miss New Year's Eve. I believe I picked these up on a stash unload at different times. Halloween Fairy. I love that these are all kitted and ready to go. And these must all call for overdyed floss, which she usually stitches with Valentine, Miss Valentine. Makes me want to stitch her now that it's Valentine season. Those I think might be available. I don't know. You can go on the Witchell website and see if it's still up there. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to show you another WIP. Forgot this one. This was my most recent start. This is Eliana. When I saw this posted, because she posts her new designs on the 15th, which is the midnight of the 14th, right? So as the 14th becomes the 15th, they post these on Eastern time, and so I'm on West Coast time, so, or it might be Midwest time. It's like 10 o'clock. I guess it's Midwest time. I can see the new design. So sometimes when I'm like, what day of the month is this? Oh, it's the 14th. Oh, I'm going to wait up and see what the new mirror is. This one I have seen stitched by several people. When I saw it come out, I literally gasped. It is so beautiful. And the picture here, the picture that's put up in the Mira groups, the Mirror on the Wall is one group, or Mirabilia Conversions, or Nora Corbett Passions. There's several Mirabilia groups. I wait until sometimes the model stitcher or Nora will post a picture of the stitched piece. And then I will decide if I'm going to get it or not, because this just doesn't even begin to do the stitched piece justice. And these are not bad photos. It's just difficult to capture the beauty of the pieces that she has. Okay, so this is, I don't remember what fabric this is. This might be Enchanted Aurora. This is my small start. And I stopped. I really didn't stitch very far. I think that's the right spot. I think I'm holding it the right way. I'm not sure. I didn't get very far because I saw someone on Instagram stitch her on a piece of sort of a grayish taupish color, brownish color. So I stopped and ordered some. This is 32 count flagstone, which is close. What she stitched on was a little darker. And it was gorgeous. So on this color, the design just leapt off the page. It was so pretty. But then I picked this up and I'm like, I've seen these too, and it's so pretty on this kind of fabric. And so I'm undecided. I stopped because I thought it's a big investment of time, and I just really want to think about what I want to do, and if I want to keep going with the overdyed, or if I want to switch to the flagstone. Okay. A couple more kits here to show you some things that are on my mind. So I've had this one. This is Renaissance Mermaid. I've had her in my, I got her when she just came out. So Leslie from Under the Sea Fabrics, she has a Facebook page, and when these come out, she'll order them. If you order the beads in the kit, the beads in the pattern, you can order the pattern, the beads in the pattern, and the specialty threads. And for the first week, she'll give you a discount on it. So, and she's very responsive. She gets that right out to you. This is so gorgeous. I love this one. Here's the fabric that I have in mind for it. It's a gorgeous fabric. This is Dying for Cross Stitch. Again, she has a Facebook page, I think. And there's a lot of there's an undertone. There's some yellows in here, purples. There are a lot of greens and blues, and the colors are fantastic in this. Fantastic. And I have I want to show you the water lilies because they're gorgeous. So I have a lot of Karen water lilies. One of my LNSs, so I really have two. They're about the same distance time-wise. one is Thread Needle Street in Issaquah, Washington. Denise is the owner, and she has a ton of threads. She has a lot of silks. She carries a lot of needlepoint supplies also. She is the sweetest lady. She has patterns. She has the whole line of mirrors. She's had some out of print mirrors. I think she's been cleaned out for those though. She has a lot of lavender and lace, and she has a beautiful store. It's not very big. It's pretty small, but it's just overflowing with threads. I buy all my water lilies from her, and I have a lot. Like sometimes I'll just go buy, 5 colors that I like, because it's a commitment to get up there. It's about, I want to say it's about if there's no traffic, it's an hour and 20 minutes, but there's never a thing as no traffic up toward the Seattle area. So whether I go down to Acorns and Threads, which is a couple hours, or I go up to Thread Needle Street, depends on what I need. I picked up the Krynics from her. If you're looking for Krynics, she has a lot of Krynic in all braid counts. A lot of the number 4, I think is what we usually use. 4 or 8. I can't remember. Anyway, and then the beads on this. Oh, gorgeous colors. And then she has a treasure that is in the middle of her little the bag here. It's a little handbag that she's holding on to. I mean, who designed that? I just am amazed at her. I don't know. The way Nora's mind works is incredible to me. All right, so let me just keep this together so I don't end up with kits that are half pulled apart. All right. I picked up this one, Lady Mirabilia. I've seen a couple people stitch it. It's not as prevalent. This is the 25-year anniversary of Mirabilia. I think it's, oh no, I'm sorry, the 10-year. And it's a big chart. I've got something inside this. I don't know what's inside this chart. Anyway, there's this one, and then the beads that go with her. I haven't picked a fabric out though. I'm not sure. What fabric would you use on this one? I probably wouldn't pick. I rarely pick the called for or the stitched on fabric, which will, I mean, it's fine, but it's just not, usually I pick something completely different. This one, Andromeda. This one I've seen stitched several times. Okay, so when this came out, sometimes a dyer will dye a fabric that they think goes well with a particular pattern. And this one has this fabric. Now, this is probably a little more intense in color than I usually pick, but I think it might be pretty gorgeous on this fabric. I can't remember who dyed it. It's an opalescent, so it's got sparkle to it. You can see the sparkle a little bit. The colors are amazing, amazing. And you're not going to see all the fabric because she's not going to take up the whole fabric, right? So I'll pick the section of fabric that I like. In fact, she may only cover like half of it. It might just be this. But I'll do the math and check it out. I just think the way the ocean looks, that this was a genius fabric choice. I did stitch Sabrina. I don't have her with me. This was a finish. When I get to the finishes, I'll insert a picture of her. This one. Okay, so this is from a Mirabilia retreat in Europe. And Pole Stitches, I can't remember her first name. They're a fabric designer. And this is the free pattern from that particular retreat. Now, she printed it off. You could order the kit, which I did, because this white peacock, I'm sure that it is more phenomenal in person than what this picture looks like. But I got this, she sent this fabric. Pole Stitches, Snow Cap is this fabric. And then here are the, I think these are the beads that go with it. It doesn't have a cap on it. I think this was all together. Now that one can have a fun one. Unusual, very different. What else do we have here? This one has been on my to stitch list for a while now. I wanted to finish Sabrina first. This is Veronica, portrait of Veronica. I have a fantasy dyed fabrics picked out for her. It's sort of it's a light pink and light blue, sort of very, very, very soft. Very soft. And I even pulled some of the DMCs, started really kitting her up, getting ready to stitch her, and then I stopped because I was committed to getting Sabrina done. So I've got a lot of work to do. All my DMCs I have in a double-sided case, and I have them wound on bobbins. It does not bother me at all. I don't, when I pull it out and stitch with it, I don't notice it much that there's, you know, if there's a kink or two in it, it doesn't bother me. I just like it's easy to get to it right away. Here's another one that's had a lot of conversions. Raven Queen. And this is, I mean, it's, oh, this is gorgeous. Let me tell you. Gorgeous. These water lilies. Oh. Aren't those such pretty threads? And some Krynic. I don't know why I have a whisper thread in there. Maybe she has something that, maybe it's the crows. I don't know. You got me. Sometimes I think of things and then I don't write a note and put it in there. I have no idea what I was thinking. I picked up this kit, I think off of Stash and Load. This is, what is this one called? Mermaid of Atlantis. And this is the called for fabric. I might use it for this one. I haven't decided. It's different. This one is heavily beaded down here. She's beautiful. Not on my immediate radar, but we'll see. Miss Christmas Eve. I haven't found the perfect fabric for her yet, but she's adorable. And then the water lilies for this one, incredible. Those colors are amazing. And the beads, so she's super, super beaded. And even these bugle beads, which are the long ones. Yeah. I think my sister wanted to do that one too, wanted to stitch it. And so maybe we can stitch together. Alrighty. Oop. So that's sort of it for the kitted things. Hopefully this doesn't all fall off my table. Let's take a look at some finishes. So I just have a handful of finishes, and then I'll be done with the WIP parade, the forever WIP parade. I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to insert a copy of the picture of Sabrina. I have stitched 2 mirrors and given them away. One is Sabrina from my oldest niece. It was a wedding present, and it's a conversion to a bride. The second one is Touching the Autumn Sky, and it went to my other niece when she was little. And I no longer have Touching the Autumn Sky. I passed that pattern along. So other than that, I think I have pretty much everything I've stitched. I did destash a couple of WIPs, lavender and lace WIPs, in the last couple of years. One of them was Winter something. Ice Winter Clean by Lavender and Lace. And I had probably about half of it stitched. But it was, you used Marlet, which is horrible, the horrible thread. It's the worst thread ever. And I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. So I adopted it out to someone. So this is like, I'll put the name on the screen. I don't remember the name of it. This is some sort of fall name. I finished this. This was half done for years. I think this was part of my Stitch 9 and 19. And I really had done almost all of it. And so at the end, I just went ahead and finished it up, and she fits perfectly in a 16 by 20 frame. So I just framed it myself. And when my kids moved away to college, I basically took over their rooms, put new beds in there, new bedding, and I hung that in one of my boys' rooms. They come home, they're like, what is this? It doesn't matter. You don't really live here anymore. You're going to college. This is Gypsy Queen. I loved stitching her. She is amazing. The beading is so amazing on this, this pattern. The colors are fantastic. I had it framed locally. I submitted this to the fair and I got some feedback from the judge, which was good, about, tips on stitching, how my stitches could lay a little differently. She really did not like the hand-dyed fabric at all. And she was just, I think, a more traditional judge that wanted a plain fabric. But we know that the stitching industry has changed a lot and hand-dyed fabrics are very popular. And I really think that this is a great fabric choice, but she disagreed. And that's okay. It's a difference of opinion. All right, so this one, I have no idea what this one's called. I stitched this one in the 90s, and it's been and I framed it. Actually took a framing class with some people that ended up opening a frame shop. They had an art gallery, and they framed this for me. I don't remember the name of this one. Angel of something. She had so many angels that came out that same time. It's stitched on a Zweigart. It's a Lugana. I'm sure it's a Lugana. It's an even weave. It's a light pink color. I do still love looking at her. But would I stitch it now? Probably not. And then when I stitched the angel, I added blending filament to her wings. So extra punishment, extra pain, but it looks beautiful. It's very shimmery. When you see the wings, they shimmer. You can kind of see that shimmer there. She's really pretty and big. She's hanging in my bedroom. All right, I'm gonna scooch over and grab a couple other ones here. The next one is Moonflowers. This is framed by Jill Rensel and stitched on Midnight Roses, which is the fabric, and I believe that is by Crafty Kitten. I'm not sure if she still makes that fabric or not. When I sent this in, I was talking with Jill Rensel. I sent in some notes of what I was looking for. I did want a dark frame. So here's the frame is really pretty on here. You can see the frame. The mat is amazing. This is sort of an organza mat. So it looks like I don't know how to explain it. Bridesmaid's dress material almost. And then she picked this shape, and then Amber does the hand painting on the mats. So that is Moonflowers. And then the last one I have is Snow Queen, also framed by Jill Rensel. And when I saw this come out, I was just in awe with this pattern. And so I stitched her. I enjoyed stitching her immensely. I can't remember what fabric this is on. I think this is at Under the Sea Fabrics fabric. I'm sure it is. If you want to know, let me know and I can try and find out. So this is Snow Queen. She hangs in one of the bedrooms as well. She's big and they're pretty heavy. Amber and Jill at Jill Rensel Studio. They're in Utah. Sorry, I'm going to be careful putting this down so it doesn't fall. They're in Utah. They ship it with glass in it, and I've not had anything break. They do a great job of securing the packaging, and I've had 3 things done from them. They do a fantastic job. So that's enough, right? That's it for the end of my WIP parade. That's it for the Mirabilia Nora Corbett Lavender and Lace Parade. And thanks for hanging in there. If you came for this part 3 today, God bless you. If you have feedback on this was much longer than I thought it would be, the whole WIP parade thing, and I just broke it into segments that were more manageable. But if you say, hey, you could do, you could shorten the time by doing something specifically, I'm interested to hear your feedback. So have a great day, and we will see you next time. Take care.